Calling all beings, y'all. Let's get it.
Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Can I get an amen for call all beings? And amen for all the people who come and hang out with me at Calling All Beings. One love to everybody. Good evening. I am your man. I got a cool little applause track down. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Calling All Beings. I am your host, DJ, here to talk about the topic du jour, the topic of the evening, the topic that was sort of motivated, spurred on by my brother, Sean McDonough, who, you know, got really pissed off. Things really annoyed him the other night. And you know what? He did something like my brother Mike Crawford said, he let it out. It's healthy. He got upset. Things on his mind. You know what? I might change my background. How's my background? Let me see if I get a different background here. Tell me which color you guys like. How does? Oh boy, how's it? Oh man, I like that. I like that for tonight. I like that background. Oh man, I got to bring the background in just a little bit closer behind me, and then we're gonna get into it. So let me just hello, Gen T27. You like this one? All right, cool. Just give me 1 second, and I'm going to pull it just a little bit closer. You're right there. Okay, now that should be good. All right, now we got some good coverage. I even got the city streets on my shirt here. You can see we got some graffiti. We got a city theme going on here. So thank you, Jen. And thank you, whomever else has tuned in. I do realize that my brother, Sean McDonough, is on with my other brother, JFK, and James over on his channel, and that is most certainly appointment listening. That is something that people don't want to miss. Sean draws a big-time crowd. So now, let me set the table for you guys of what I want to talk about tonight, and I also want to shout out my fellow content creators. So let me get busy with that, and I'm going to kind of repeat some of these themes throughout the night. I am here, got both of you. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. I am here basically in the Karen Reed community because of Sean McDonough. Sean brought me into the community. He was the first one that, oh my goodness, Britt is calling. Let me just tell. You're live on air, my friend. Okay. All right, love. Bye-bye. All right, that's Britt. She's going to be my co-host for Sunday. So Sean McDonough, and that's why. I mean, when Britt calls, I have to pick up. She's she's a cab co-host now. She's a TikToker like Nurse Kim. And Britt Happens on @BrittHappens on Twitter. She also has @BrittHappens TikTok, and she's going to have an @BrittHappens YouTube. And she's an awesome Karen Reed content creator from Fort Walton Beach. You guys, if those of you who don't know her, are going to absolutely love Britt. We did an episode with her quite recently. She played guitar. She's going to play. She might play guitar this weekend for us as well. This roundtable is going to be ridiculous on Sunday, so make sure you're tuning in at 7 p.m. Massachusetts time, because we have Esty, we have John Como, we have Boozy Beauty, we have what's her name now? Is it Haley Walbrecht? Jason is going to be on. He's a brilliant writer and speaker. Let's see. Analyze is going to be on. Britt's going to be on. Reality Check is going to be on. So anyway, so that's for Sunday. But let me talk about what I'm going to get into tonight. So this is going to kind of build up. Think of it like the freight train that starts slowly. Okay. So Sean is responsible for me coming in the community. He is the first one basically to answer my query to come on the show. And with that, he came on Calling All Beings because I was very, very passionate about this Karen Reed situation and case. And Sean came on and validated me. And after he came on, as you would imagine, more people were willing to come on the show. And that was, I got to get this fade right here. Oh, boy. Okay, maybe about like that. I'll kind of do it. Sorry, you can see a little scintillation at the top of the screen. It's not as easy. I just got home I had to went and got an MRI today. Okay, so that's how I got here. I am the smallest fish in this pond amongst these people whom I love. Turtle Boy, Sean, Mike Crawford, Kim, Mazza, Brian LTL. I think I've hit everybody now. The Glarer, who also was on with me a couple of weeks ago. These people have blessed me with their presence. They've come on round tables, and they've helped the show. And, hey, there she is, Britt Happens. First, here's Jen. Hi, Jen T. 27. And Britt Happens. My co-host for Sunday. You're probably going to see her on a number of Calling All Beings episodes, and Britt, you're going to see her on YouTube very soon. Okay, so I love all of these content creators and respect all of them. I am the smallest among them, so that's sort of the place that I hold. They have larger audiences and so forth, and content creation is very hierarchical in nature, very caste system-esque. Okay. So now that we've kind of set that table, I have what I believe happened with Sean the other night is probably a confluence of events. Obviously, he mentioned that he had lost family members, his brother Brian, his father. As he said, his brother Brian was a Canton badass to perhaps an even greater degree than Brian Albert is. But not in the murdering type of way. And now he has another friend that is imperiled, and he was upset. He was upset at several people, and he let that out and expressed that, and that's okay. But I believe if we were to do a fire science investigation and we were to look at what was the accelerant that caused this fire to ignite, I believe, that veritable, well, they say, oh, this person fell asleep smoking on the couch. I believe that would have been the comments of a guy who, I don't know who he is. They say that he broadcast from his mom's basement. Now, I'm being coy. I do know who he is, and I know his name. But this is thematic, and this is analogous to what we're going to talk about tonight. Because irrespective of the fact that I know his name, I don't consume his content. I don't click on his Twitter. I don't click on his YouTube. I don't go and make clips of what he does and then rebroadcast it on my Twitter or broadcast on my show. So you can get an idea, and I'm going to explain to you why I don't do that. That is basically, in a nutshell, what this is about. What this is not a rebuke of any of my colleagues who we just mentioned: Sean, Turtle Boy, Mike, Kim, Mazza, Brian LTL, the Glare. This is not and these are the ones that basically that I know. Okay, this is not a rebuke of any of them. I love and respect all of them, and I follow their lead. Because those guys are extremely successful in this space, and I am a smaller voice in this space. Okay, what I am offering up tonight is an alternate hypothesis to how to handle swagger jackers and trolls in 2024. And what these individuals are. So there's the guy who broadcasts from his mom's basement. Don't know who he is, don't know his page. And then there is the woman, the jilted, the dismissed employee of Turtle Boy, who used to work for Turtle Boy News. I don't know if it's because Turtle Boy wasn't offering at least three. I think, he's probably offering 3% matching on his 401k. So that's an industry standard. I don't know what she's so upset about, but this woman hates Turtle Boy, and obviously she conspired with Brian Tully and with Leah Genduso and with I'm trying to remember the other woman, Britt. If you're live and you can help me out, is it Lindsay Gaetani, right? Lindsay and Mike Morrissey. So conspired against this man to try to create a scenario where they could re-jail him essentially, or revoke, his bail. And they wanted to do the same and see if they could tie in the legal team for Karen Read and Karen Read herself, because they assumed if they could jail Karen Read, they could soften her up and get her to accept a plea deal. And I would submit to you, if she were in jail right now, she still wouldn't accept the plea deal. So this woman is very, very angry. And as Melanie Little says, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And that has manifested itself in all these ways in which she has conspired to try to take down this young man, Turtle Boy, who has done, phenomenal work in this medium. We have these sort of two alpha dogs. We have Turtle Boy, who's sort of on the media side of things and a bit of an investigative reporter, journalist. And then on the other side, we have Sean, the former law enforcement officer with many, many, many contacts that is able to leverage those contacts to get information. Both of them get information. Some is different information than the other gets, but both very valuable to us in the community. And so I respect both guys. I'm closer to Sean. I met Turtle Boy at the party, obviously. I don't know him, but I respect and regard what he's accomplished. And Sean, I just love the guy. I do have a telephone relationship with him, and I'm very thankful for that, because I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now were it not for him. And there are many listeners that tuned in and watched the show, not because of me, but because Sean was here. And then they found out, this bald guy's okay. So, all right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. And we're gonna try to go piece by piece, step by step. Why are we all here in this content creation world? Do you guys know why that is? Do you know why I'm here? Why Sean is here? Why Mike is here? In terms of, why Mazza is here. There are journalistic pursuits that are involved in this, and there are activism pursuits. But all of us want to come on air. We want to be listened to. We want to be regarded. And we want to be liked. And we want to have a dialogue with our listeners. That's why we do this. We came on here because we wanted to have interesting discussions with people about topics, and we all want to have some feedback that is successful. Now, how do we get that? How do we know when we've had a successful show? How does, these individuals, the guy who broadcasts from his mom's basement, or this other angry former Turtle Boy employee, how do they know? Basically they're looking at metrics, and there's a lot of different metrics we can look at. If you're on podcasts like me, I can get a whole set of metrics from my podcast purveyor that are even more detailed than what you can get on YouTube. I can see where all my listeners come from. I can see a graph of how many listeners in different countries that pay attention to Calling All Beings. I can see downloads. I can see all kinds of different metrics. And certainly I would look at that and say, okay, what I'm doing is working, or if nobody's watching, well, then it's not working, right? But it is working, and we're doing quite well. It's probably the best year for Calling All Beings ever. We've never monetized until 2024, and we've done quite well this year. Enough to pay for StreamYard, and enough to pay for Spreaker, and enough to pay for Canva, and enough to pay for Twitter, because you have to have a premium Twitter account in order to get more characters that I can post and stream to. You have to have premium to be able to stream to it. So I have more than what I. So now with all these different platforms, we have to pay for monthly. Fortunately, the show has been able, for the first time ever, because we never monetized in 3 years, 3.5 years. We're getting closer to, we're 3.5 years now. We're finally monetized and we're making enough to pay for the stuff. Before that, we just shelled out money every month. If I need software, there's some other Apple software that I use and for the show to cut and edit, and I had to pay for that stuff. Now the show's paying for it. So all of us do this. All of us are looking at those metrics. Sean stated today how many thousand. I mean, he had almost 8,000 listeners during the day for Sean Part 2 the other day. So what does that tell him? It tells him I'm doing really well. Mike has 34,000 subscribers, something like that. I'd have to go back and look. Turtle Boy have over 100,000 subscribers. This is really great, and then you could look at, so here's the metrics you can look at. You can look at subscribers on YouTube. You can look at how many likes you got per episode. You can look at, so that's 2. 3, you can look at how many views and plays you got. How many people went back and viewed or total viewed that episode. Regardless of how many viewed it live, you can see total views, okay? Now on Twitter, we can have followers, how many Twitter followers you have. We can have, every time you put something out, how many likes do you get? How many retweets you get? And then you can look at this little bar graph and you can see impressions. And that can mean somebody clicked on and looked and read your tweet. It's a Twitter impression, okay? So there's all those, what have I named now? 8 different metrics that they can look at aside from the podcast stuff, because I'm the only one of us that's on podcast. The rest are YouTubers, and in the case of Nurse Kim, she's both YouTube and TikTok. So, and I don't know much about TikTok. Britt would be able to illuminate that for us because I don't know too much about it. But I want you to get my point that all of us, including the guy who broadcasts from his basement and Turtle Boy's angry former employee, plus all of us that are on the side of this, we know that Karen didn't do it, and we're going to get to that because I'm going to tell you what the other side, what they think. And I am very, very sure of what they think about this, okay? So we're all looking at metrics. Now, if you are a guy with a K in his first name who broadcasts from his mom's basement, and you come into this ecosystem of Karen Reed and the trial and the tragedy that happened in the loss of Officer John O'Keefe at 34 Fairview in Canton, and you want to become the top dog, and what you encounter is this rising star Turtle Boy. And then from the law enforcement perspective, now granted, there's lots of other people out here. Again, we have Mike, we have the Glare, we have Brian LTL, we have Kim, we have Mazza, we have all these other content creators. But if they're looking at the 2 chief, the 2 chief content creators, the 2 top dogs in our thing, if we were talking about La Cosa Nostra, it is Turtle Boy and Sean. Okay, that's where we're at. Now, automatically you are not going to get to the top in that space. That you can come, you can talk, you can do a show like me, and you can be happy. Hello, hey, everybody. So this right here is my friend, author, Tim Halloran from, I want to say Maryland, but he's from Delaware, former scout for the Baltimore Orioles, and author of the book, The Bigfoot Influencers. He's the one who told me about your local Massachusetts Bigfoot investigator, and his name is Dave. I always forget his last name. His first name's Dave. Put that in the chat, Tim, his last name. I thought of it this morning because I really want the audience to know. But anyway, Tim is my brother. He actually was in Canton on business recently. He drove by 34 Fairview and took a video, And now just last week, I was in town in Massachusetts, and I took a video at 34 Fairview. But welcome, Tim. Love that guy. Okay. So now you see that as you come into this ecosystem and this space, you are not going to be the top dog. The top dog is going to be Turtle Boy and Sean, or Sean and Turtle Boy, however you want to do that, both coming from different perspectives. Because Sean has the ear of law enforcement folks. They will trust him. They will talk to him. Boston Police, Canton Police, Stoughton Police, Mass State Police, they're individuals that will talk to him that probably would not talk to Turtle Boy, and probably are not. But there are other people that are talking to Turtle Boy that aren't talking to Sean. And here we go. This is Brit Happens. I'm not lying just yet. Hopefully we'll catch up soon. I'm not. What does that mean? You're not lying just yet. We'll catch up soon. TikTok has similar data analytics. Okay. I don't know what she means by I'm not lying just yet. Anyway, Brit Happens. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not lying just yet. I don't know what that means. Hopefully we'll catch up soon. But yes, TikTok has similar data. Yeah. So Brit Happens. You can find her there with that name on TikTok. Doing Karen Reed content. She was an amazing Judge Bev last night. And if you'll share with me, Britt, your photos from last night that are solo without your kids in there, I will share them on Twitter because you made an amazing Judge Bev. It was just a brilliant. She cut the hair. It was perfect. Anyway, so we're back to content creators. So I want you to understand the type of an individual that comes on here and does this. And it doesn't matter if it's not live. Okay. Not live. Right. Okay. I'm not live just yet, but hopefully we'll catch. Yes. Yeah, we'll talk hopefully later on about your YouTube so we can get you up on here because YouTube needs you, Britt. Okay. So I wanted you to understand the archetype. Somebody like Britt, I mean, if I were to ask her, Britt, why are you doing this? I'm going to speak for her, and this is dangerous. She wants to come on here and have interesting conversations and analyze and espouse her findings, but she most certainly wants to be liked, wants to be appreciated, wants her content to be viewed. I mean, that's why we're all here. And those folks that are on this other side, or they pretend to be on the other side of Karen Reed, they want the same thing. Now that we've established that we all have that in common, irrespective of what you believe about Karen Reed's guilt or innocence, we all want the same thing when we come on here and we make a show. Now, can there be some other external factors to that? If you're friends with, someone's promoting you, and has a passion for getting the word out. Yes, absolutely. See, then there's another thing that right. We have a passion for getting the word out. There are multiple things. It's not just a couple of things. It's several things, but the basis of it is you're going to judge yourself by what kind of a response you get from your audience or lack of response. And when you have a lack of response, you're going to say, well, how can I increase my bandwidth and that response? How can I do that? Especially when you see these powerhouses that are in this community, that you're not going to rise above those people. You're not going to get bigger than them. I know I'm not going to be bigger than Mike Crawford and the Young Jerks, which is a great show. And I love Mike. He's one of my favorite, the realest of the real. I'm not going to probably be bigger than Nurse Kim. She started after me, and she's risen like a rocket ship. That's okay. I'm going to do me, and as long as I'm getting the feedback that I've been getting from people, both between DMs and between people agreeing to come on with me. There's other metrics, too. People agreeing to if people think you suck, they're not going to come on your show. And on my show, I have had Mark Betterow 2 times. I've had Mike Crawford at least once or twice. I've had Mazza on. I've had Sean on a couple times. I've had Peter Murphy on. I've had Kim on. These people are not going to come on if they think your show sucks. So that's another metric that you could use. Okay. Now, let's go to the individuals themselves. I said I was going to be coy. There's a guy who broadcasts from his mom's basement. I don't know his name. I actually do know his name, his first name, his last name, and obviously where he's from. But I don't say his name. Why do you think I don't say his name? What's up, Tony D? What's up, Wales? What's up, homie? I love it, man. I love the UK, man. I lived in the UK for 3 years, and I don't know, one of the best 3 years of my entire life. So why do you think I don't say their name? Would anybody like to hazard a guess as to why? That's in the chat, that's active. DJ, oh, here we go. I can certainly see rising. You're positive. Thank you very much, Britt. I appreciate that. Britt's saying that because we're friends. So cheers. But if you would hazard a guess, it gives them more power to mention the names. Thank you, Britt. I know that you just graduated magna cum laude, but we're going to give you another A for tonight's class. So congratulations, Britt. Graduate magna cum laude, Holmes. I can barely spell that. So it gives more power to mention their names. So let's talk about that. What's been happening? Let's look at what has happened. What has happened, and let's talk about these archetypes first. And I'm going to tell you why I don't respect these people. When it comes to Kay, the guy who broadcasts from his mom's basement, and thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Brother from another mother blood. That's what's up, man. I want to talk about the guy who broadcasts from his mom's basement and the girl dismissed by Turtle Boy from TB News. And I'm going to say this with confidence and with absolutely no receipts. And you can take this or leave this. And what I'm laying out here tonight is not to tell my fellow content creators what to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I have no business telling anybody what to do. I am going to offer an alternate hypothesis of what to do. Because when something doesn't work, if we continue to do the same thing over and over that's not working, that's the definition of an insanity. We all know that. You guys knew where I was going. By the way, here's the rubber ducky. Thanks to Suzanne Cleveland for the rubber ducky. And as Melanie says, if you know, you know. So anyway. So Kay, the guy from his mom's basement, and Kay, the one who Turtle Boy dismissed, also know that Karen is innocent. Let me say that again for those of you who maybe didn't catch that. Kay, mom's basement guy, and the other Kay, angry dismissed employee, also know that Karen is innocent. They don't believe that she hit John O'Keefe with the car. They're not stupid. They're not dumb. It would take somebody unable to critically think and look at a set of facts to know that then that's not what happened. Okay? That it wasn't a car wreck. That all these things that they did and all the guilty stuff they did and blah, 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 blah. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a friggin' duck. Okay. So, yes, they do. They hate TB. So, go ahead, Jen, and explain that comment because I don't know what yes, they do means. Yes, they do what? So, if you would expound upon that. Okay. And here we go. There's nobody who can rub two brain cells together who actually... Britt, as you can tell, my co-host is she's a lot better with words than I. Hence why she graduated magna cum laude, and I was a special ed student in high school. All right. So yes, I agree with you. They are right. The reason is they can't stand Turtle Boy, but also, Jen, when we talk about the makeup of a hater, and I said this on one of the last shows. Actually, I said it on Mike Crawford's show. If you listen to one of Mike's shows, I called in, I think it was Monday or it was Tuesday. I called in Mike Crawford's show, and I said, and I'm going to get this quote messed up, so you guys will have to help me out. It's not that the hater hates you. It's not that they hate Turtle Boy. They hate that they see something in Turtle Boy that they do not have within themselves. That's the hate. The hate is I see something, I admire it, and I don't have it, and I want it. And that makes them hate Turtle Boy. It's really not that they hate him. They want to be like him, right? They want to be like a Turtle Boy. Of course. Absolutely, Jen. They know Karen is innocent. So when you have this archetype that knows, and what do we got here, Jen? I think they enjoy the negative. Yes. And this is where I'm going. Did you know? Were you in my show notes, Jen? Did you somehow know what I was going to say? Give it up for Jen T27. So thank you. If you're watching right now, if you, as we spoke before about metrics, if you would be so kind as to smash the like button. I'm not going to threaten to turn the air conditioner off like Melody because it's too cold here. I'm not going to have air conditioning on yet. I've got the heat on now. It was like 32 degrees this morning. So yeah, but if you would smash the like button and if you would be kind enough to subscribe if you do like the show, I would also appreciate that. Okay. So back to the hate aspect. So what Jen T says here. So once these guys figured out that they weren't going to be on that side, it takes a certain type of person to say, I'm going to espouse something I don't believe that will hurt somebody else, maybe even their career or their life. And I'm okay with that because it's going to get me what I want. I want that adulation that Turtle Boy has. And people that say that K, the guy from his mom's basement, is stupid, or that KP is stupid, they're not stupid. In fact, they may be smarter than all of us in a way. Why don't I respect a lot of smart people? I respect Brit. Yeah, look, I need my instant gratification. So, there you go. So I don't know if that's him or not. But these people, they're very, very smart, and they have been able to manipulate this situation in a way that they wanted it to go, and it's working out quite well for them. So let's talk about that. If Jen T27, she went on Twitter and she tweeted at me and said, DJ, your show sucks. And I don't answer. She says, DJ, your show really, really sucks. And you know what, man? Your opinions suck. Your analysis sucks. And nobody should listen to because you're a liar. Don't answer her. In fact, I could even mute her because if I mute her, then she won't even know that I'm not seeing her tweets. Whereas if I block her, she could say to somebody, she could say to somebody, oh, look, DJ blocked me because I said bad stuff about his show. Ha, 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 what a baby. So if Jen were doing that, and I know she would never say that DJ sucks or calling all beings, but if she did, that's what I could do. So then let's say that Jen decides to tweet at me 5 more times. I don't answer. What can she infer? I'm going to ask you this question to the audience. What can she infer from me not responding to her tweets? I would like somebody to please type it into the comments. Anybody? Jen? What would you infer if you kept tweeting at me and I didn't respond? That's right. I don't care what you think. Couldn't care less. Now, let's turn that around. Jen goes, your show sucks, DJ, and you're a liar, and you're a rapist, and you're this and you're that. And I go, you know what, Jen? You're the liar. You have no followers. You have no credibility. You have no, and let's say she's a YouTuber, right? And then now, what would you infer from that, Jen, if I responded to your tweets? The first one, even. Anybody? Well, I don't know if anybody's going to respond, but what she can infer from that is I care what she thought. Well, yes, that I was defensive, but we're going to a more root level than that because you were right on this one. I don't care. Not in your case, Jen, but for this guy this joking one right here, this gentleman here, if he were the actual guy from the mom's basement, I don't care what he says. He could come out and say, I'm this. He could say I'm that. He could say my show sucks. He could say I'm wrong with my conclusions about Karen Reed. Anything he says, I don't know he exists. I have never been to his Twitter. You know why? Yes. But as at the root level, Jen, you know that I care. And the reason you know that is why, Jen? Because I responded. Because I responded to you. And if I respond to you, my followers on Twitter and my viewers, no, that's all good, man. He's so funny, Tony. That's good, man. I hope you got a nice big stein of beer, man. Good stuff. Okay. If you totally broke me right there, Tony D. All right, so if I respond, now my viewers, my followers are going to add weight unwittingly to what you've said because I care to respond to you. So whether I wanted this to occur or not doesn't matter. I want to tell my followers, this person, right? This person who has this, this yellow, right? This person is a jackass who's a liar and does all this stuff. But what I've inadvertently done is I added weight to that person's words. What I intended to, immaterial. I did it because I responded. Now, let's dial it up a notch. Okay? I want you to get ready here, Jen. Okay? Because you're the only one responding to me tonight. Except Tony's got like a Guinness right now. He can't. I'm not going to bother him. If, let's say, you're a content creator, you're anti-KR, Jen, and you're saying that she's guilty, I did it, and all this immaterial crap, and ready, thank you, love, and I now decide that I'm going to dedicate an hour of my show to show you on the screen, to make clips of you, and then to respond to you on air. What do you think happens then? Compared to just having a tweet exchange. And while she's typing here, or using Siri, God willing, I use Siri, and 25% of the things I ask Siri to type, it types incorrectly. What happens is I am now promoting even further and her content and driving people to that content. Now, people may not become a subscriber, right? Some will, because let's say there's a subscriber only chat, right? I'm going to get you an. Looks like Tony's doing UFO stuff here. Tony, I can't get into UFO stuff tonight, brother. But thank you for doing that. But I can't do it. I am thinking of some shows about UFOs, but not tonight. I am now driving people to that content. I am now. If someone wants to go on there and harass this person, harass Jen on her chat, and she has a subscriber only chat, now you're gonna have to subscribe to them. So you're really driving people to that content, right? And if it's not even that, just going and clicking on their Twitter, replying to their tweet, retweeting them, going to their YouTube channel, they're going to drive content, and they're going to drive traffic on their YouTube, because they're going to go and they're going to cut out clips from that person's YouTube and put it on your own show. So this person who we want to marginalize not because they're stupid, because this person, Kay, from his mom's basement, he knows that that's what he's doing. This is what he's trying to do, to antagonize my fellow content creators because they respond. Now, I'm a small fish. He doesn't know I exist. He doesn't care about me. I know he exists, and I don't care about him, right? But he goes and tries to antagonize my fellow content creators like Mike, like the Glare, primarily Sean. He really pissed off and lied about Sean. And he achieved his goal, because then what happened is they went and put up his content and put up his lies. So it drives traffic to his site. YouTube can see people logged on, checked out his stuff, maybe made clips of his stuff, and rebroadcast it. And then all of his tweets, every time he says something stupid and he responds to something and you reply to him, it drives the traffic on his Twitter. Now, he can't necessarily monetize that, but he uses it as a metric to evaluate his content. You're adding weight to his words. Okay, here you go. Jen T says, yes, that's true. I scroll by the vicious people, give them no engagement. They have been attacking Nurse Kim all week, when it makes me very, very mad. I love Nurse Kim. I just love her. She is an amazing content creator, an amazing person. I wish I had met her in Massachusetts when I was there last weekend, but she was on vacation, so she didn't get to come to the party. But yes, so I don't. When they say something about Nurse Kim, I don't click on their stuff. I don't go to their stuff. You know why? Because they're jealous, because everybody loves Nurse Kim. So how do you drive your content when you have someone, this saintly individual who's so sweet and so lovely and so nice to all of us? Well, how do you get to a person like that? Well, you go ahead and make negative content about her. And then people go, oh, you're a jackass saying something. And even I've done that a couple times, defending Nurse Kim. Well, that's good. That's good for this content creator, because we're driving traffic. If you completely ignore them, they'll stop. And the reason they're going to stop is they're not getting what they started it for in the first place. They did it because they wanted to get attention, to drive people towards their content, and people didn't bite. It's like, there's a lady named @20th-century-gal that's on Twitter, and she posts really cool, really interesting rock and roll questions. She'll make a poll. She'll say, what is your favorite song that has this, that? She's able to mix and make the most interesting rock and roll trivia questions on Twitter of anybody that's out there. Nobody has more interesting classic rock trivia on Twitter than Amy does at 20th Century Gal. So what happens, and now I respond to her, and she responds back to me. What do you guys think? I'm going to ask you right here, Jen, because you're the only one responding to me. What do you think would happen if Amy stopped responding to me? You know, she'd put out something, I would answer her tweet, I would say something, and let's say she never responded to me. What do you think would happen? I'd stop, right? I would say I'm sick of replying to Amy's content that I enjoy. Hey, Patty, that's right. Thank you, Patty. Somebody out there, thank you. I appreciate it. Not many people watching tonight because a lot of people are watching Sean on the show with JFK, but I wasn't going to not do the show because even though I spoke with Sean right when I get off work about, what was it? I got off at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I talked to Sean on the phone. He told me he was going with JFK, and I was like, all right, I had to go get an MRI. I wasn't going to cancel the show because I really wanted to do this show, and I thought this information was very valuable, and people can watch it on replay. And then I have a show Sunday, and I didn't want to do Saturday and Sunday. So what Patty says is correct. I would stop and leave it be. Now, the point I'm making to you, I guess the delineation that I should point out here is that I am responding positively to Amy's positive tweets at 20th Century Gal. But if she stopped responding to me, I would probably stop responding to her. I would stop responding to her tweets if she didn't respond to me. It's just what people are going to do. They're going to be like, I'm sick of, you know what? Somebody just messaged me, where's this person from? I don't know if it's somebody from Massachusetts or not. It's not. Okay. It's not. It's one of the political stuff that I don't pay any attention to. Another thing I don't pay attention to is politics and political polarization. Your MRI tech, yay! It went very well. Yeah, I went to Penrad Imaging here in Colorado Springs. They did very well. It went very quick. I just had my left knee done, and I'm hoping that it will, I'll figure out what's wrong, get my knee fixed, and be able to get back to PTing a little harder than I do now. You can't fight back if the other person isn't engaging. That's right. But I want to get deeper than that, Jen. It's not even about fighting because I want to point this out to everybody about my fellow content creators. So this guy, Kay, the mom's basement guy, he talks some smack about Sean. He had the gall to show you how classless he is. He told Sean to shut up on his show. Don't let that set in for a minute. I would never invite somebody on there. Thank you, Patty Murphy, love. I would never invite somebody on and tell them to shut up if they came on my show. I shower my guests with praise and love because I love the fact that they would give of their time to come on and speak to me. You know, I showered the praise on Nurse Kim, and she's like, oh, you're a wrestling announcer. You make me feel so good. You doing? I'm like, no, this is me. This is how I feel. I'm showing you how I feel that you came on with me. That's what I'm doing. This is not an act when I do that. That's how I feel. So, yes, that shows that he's not a professional broadcaster, not a professional content creator, because you would not do that to somebody, okay? Now, this is the more important point about that, Jen. He would not say that to Sean's face. This is not real life. If Sean, former DEA agent, a man trained in hand-to-hand combat, if he was up there in Andover at his place, at his mom's house, and he's to come up to the door and say, all right, tell me shut the fuck up now. Come on. Tell me shut the fuck up. He's not going to do it. Think he's going to say it to Mike? Mike, who's one of the great wrestlers of his era in Massachusetts. Mike will get a takedown on Kevin. There's going to be boom, single, double leg. Kevin's going to go down, and then he's going to be like a fish out of water flopping around the floor as Mike mounts him. And it's over. Okay? So there's not going to be a fight there. He could talk all the crap he wants about Mike. He's not going to take on Mike. Mazza? I'm going to tell you something, man. Mazza is a giant. Mazza trains martial arts weekly. He's still in the game. I've been at jiu-jitsu for a couple of years now, and I'll tell you what, I'm not an intimidating person. I'm sure Kevin would talk shit to me, but believe me, if I was up there and he wants to talk shit at me, I'm happy to get into it with him. You know, he and I can have that man-to-man discussion. I've got my own BJJ stuff that I can work and give it a shot. I'm not at my best, but yeah. But that's not being a tough guy, telling Sean to shut the F up, saying stuff about Mike, because they're not going to go up to Mike and say it to his face. They're not going to go up to Kevin and say it to his face. And I'll tell you what, I don't know too much about Brian LTL. He's a big boy. I don't think they're going to say anything to him. And the glare, he damn sure isn't going to say anything to the glare either. Nor is this other woman, KP, the angry, dismissed employee. I don't think she'd go up to Nurse Kim, my Italian paisan, and say crap to her face. So this is not a tough guy thing. The reason I point that out to you guys is not to talk about how tough Sean is or how tough. I'm just telling you that these are the skills these people have. And these other folks that are talking crap would not say it to their face. So you responding to them is not a show of your toughness, because that only happens in person. There's an individual who did this to Calling All Beings from the UFO community. If you guys want me to get into that story and tell you who the players were that were like Sean Turtleboy and Kay from the Yellow Cottage, if you guys want to know that story, put it in the chat, and I'll tell you what happened in that scenario and then how it came to me and Calling All Beings and what we did about it. If you want to hear that story, put it in the chat, and if you don't, I will take it that you don't want to hear it because it's not Karen Reed related, but it is analogous exactly to what's going on here. And that's why I'm offering up this alternative to my fellow content creators, all of whom I love. The Glare, Mike, Sean, Mazza, Kim, Brian LTL. Okay. I know you are, Tony, but you're from the UFO community. Okay, Britt wants to hear it. Okay. And Melissa wants to hear it. Okay. All right. So there's the person who is Sean. Thank you, Jen. The person who is Sean is a best-selling author right now on the New York Times bestseller list. His name is Lou Elizondo. And Lou Elizondo was a GS-15 in the government. He's a former Army counterintelligence special agent. Notice special agent, also like Sean, right? And he even went down to Guantanamo and interviewed people that were very, very scary people like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and he got himself on some kill lists, Lou Elizondo. Then he was hired by the Pentagon as a civilian, and he went to the GS-15 level, which is as high as you can go in general schedule, is 15. And Lou was put in charge of the UAP task force. When they stood up the UAP task force, Lou was the head of that task force. And he took all those reports from those Navy pilots that were seeing and interacting with UFOs. Then, hold on a second. I might have some Gatorade here too. I do. That's good news. Okay, Lou. There was another guy named Lou, also a Cuban American of a different last name, another Lou, and he was a content creator. So think Kevin or Plevin, whatever you guys call him. And he had asked Lou had said, hey, you know what? You're a Cuban American from South Florida. I'm a Cuban American from South Florida. I'll come on your show. He went on his show and blew this kid's show up. Blew his show up. He had a great co-host, and he went on probably half a dozen times or more, because now the biggest name in UFOs, the guy who's the just quit, resigned a Pentagon leader for UFOs, GS-15, is coming on his show. Everyone's talking about him. And then even they did a show with their Cuban fathers. Both Lou's and both fathers, all Cuban Americans. One was imprisoned in Cuba. The other one was not in prison, but they brought their dads on and all that stuff. So that goes to show you that there was a friendship there that went beyond just the UFO show, because he brought his father on the show. Okay? That would be like, Sean McDonough bringing his dad on my show. That would be like huge, gigantic. I realize his dad passed, but that's the analogy. Then at one point, one of the members of this Lou's YouTube show started to badmouth Lou Elizondo and say, I think he's a liar. I think he's this. I think he's that. I think he's a grifter, right? How many times have we heard grifter? He's a grifter. He's a liar. He's this and that. So this Lou started to entertain these theories, regardless of how this guy made his show the biggest show in UFOs. The biggest, okay? The biggest show. So what ends up happening is he gets on air, this guy Lou comes on, and he does exactly what Plevin did to Sean. They started to try to attack Lou on his show. Well, Lou attacked back on that show. Okay? And then they were completely at odds. All of a sudden, this guy's show that was the most popular one tanked. He lost his co-host. He had on some co-host who was a piece of shit, a garbage co-host. And the next thing you know, he don't have a show anymore. So what does he do? He starts a YouTube to just talk bad about other people's shows. Let me say that again. This other guy, Lou, whose show tanked after Benedict Arnold screwed over his friend, traitor to a true friend in Lou Elizondo, he starts a show just to talk bad about and review other people's shows. So now do you see the analogy between he and Plevin, right? Just to talk crap, call people grifter. So eventually, he takes his aim at calling all beings. He took aim at calling all beings and my co-hosts, Nathan and Deb, and whomever else we've had several other of a fourth co-host, but Nathan, myself, and Debs have been there since the beginning of Calling All Beings. And then we've had different of fourth co-hosts. And Nathan is a saintly person. I'm going to tell you, this guy's my brother. He's one of the nicest, greatest people you'd ever meet. He was just up there in Asheville, North Carolina, where those bad storms are, and helped out I don't know how many neighbors and family members because he was prepared for that kind of an incident. So what I told my team is I said, guys, let's not respond to these guys. Because Nathan called me and said, DJ, should I think I'm going to write a response. And I said, Nathan, you can do what you want. It's a free country. I would not do it. Because there are no words in the English language that you could string together, that you could tweet to this guy, that are going to make him say, oh, wow, you have a great point. I was wrong about you. That's not happening in this lifetime. Not happening. Okay? So I told him, don't answer his tweets. And then, oh, DJ, guess what? He tweeted this about. I said, I don't care. He doesn't exist to me. He does not exist. Nothing he says about me or about the show, nothing he says matter. Unless he's going to come to my face. If he wants to come and stand in front of me, now we can have a man-to-man talk. Now we can do it real, like real men do it, right? Real women do it too, right? Because we have a lot of women fighters out there. I know a lot of women fighters. I've been in jiu-jitsu and MMA gyms for, a lot of my last career. So you see now, and what do you think now? There was one time where he said, he DM'd my co-host Nathan, said, "Hey, I heard you've been saying," I said something about it. I said he was a traitor to somebody, another content creator. I said he was a traitor to Lou Elizondo. So he tweets and DMs Nathan and says, "Hey, I heard you said I was a traitor." And Nathan said, "Excuse me, sir, I didn't say anything about that. I think that was DJ." So then he includes me in on it. Said, "Yeah, I said it. Give me a call. Let's talk about it." I mean, the guy lives in Los Angeles, right? So it's not like I can go and confront the guy. But I am happy to confront him anytime, anywhere, any place, to coin AFSOC's saying, okay? But that's not going to happen, right? He can be a keyboard tough guy because I'm not there alone in a room with him. So this is not about being tough, because there are keyboard tough people and there are tough people in real life. I don't consider myself a tough guy, but compared to these schmucks, I'm okay. Sean, I consider a tough guy. Mike, I consider a tough guy. Mazza, I consider a tough guy. Glare, I consider a tough guy. LTL, I'm sure. I don't know him very well. I'm sure he could handle himself with these schmucks. Okay? So okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it, baby. That's all they break in is a caps lock. That's right. So that's the analogy there. So you're not responding to show that you're tough. Okay? Because and let me tell you the end of the story. That guy doesn't tweet at me anymore because he doesn't exist to me. However many times he did shows about Cab, I heard. And I wouldn't even know that I'd tell people, dude or girlfriend, I don't even know that he did that show, but for the fact that you've told me. Because I will never go to his channel. I will not click on his channel because that would drive his traffic, right? Drives traffic on his YouTube. I would never click on his channel. I wouldn't go to his YouTube. I wouldn't go to his Twitter. I don't go to anything. I don't care what he says about DJ or calling all beings. We don't respond because unless he's going to say it to our face, doesn't matter. And if I do respond to him, he's just going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going. He says this, I say that. I says this, he says that. He says that, I say this. Do you see? And that's what you've seen on Twitter, right? What's his face? The guy in his mom's basement. He says something, they say something. He says something, they say something. He says something, they say something. Kate says something, they say something. Kate says, they says. Kate says, they says. Where does it stop? How do you stop it? Obviously, responding doesn't do anything. Just makes his voice even bigger. How do you stop it? My hypothesis, hi, I am a troll queen. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Celine. I'm glad. It's like a school bully. They want your reaction. You don't give it to them. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to fighting, let's fight. We can fight about it. But if we can't fight, then you're not as tough as you're trying to act like you are. So that's right. Free speech matter. They can, right. You're 100% right. They can say anything they want. I don't care. Don't care what they say. Say anything you want. I'm not paying attention. I don't care what you say. Okay. I would like to care less. This is going to like, the guy in his mom's basement or the one that Turtle Boy fired. I would like to care less what they think, but I'm unable to. I'm at 0 and I can't go, I can't go less than 0. My pleasure. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's right. They can say whatever they want. It's a free country, right? Free speech. Say as much as you want. I'm not paying attention. I'll mute you. I'll block you. And you could talk all day about calling all beings, about everything that Karen Reed that you don't even believe because you're a liar. And you believe that she's innocent just like I do. But you just think it's politically expedient and it's going to drive more of your content and line your pockets if you contend that she's guilty. but you know she's not guilty. So why should I even entertain anything that you say? Because you believe the same thing I do, and I know that. You haven't fooled me. You're just smart. You're really smart because you know how to get a reaction out of people. And this KP and this dude in the mom's basement, they are really, really smart. But there's a lot of smart people. Ted Kaczynski was smart, right? The Unabomber, he was able to pull off I don't admire Ted Kaczynski. Britt and I were talking the other night about the girl, what was her name? Denise Huskins, who got kidnapped out there in Northern California. I think it was Vallejo. And the police said, oh, she's pretending to be Girl Gone. It's like, no, dipshit. She actually did get abducted, and eventually she got caught, or that guy got caught. That guy went to Harvard. He was a Harvard lawyer, but he'd been disbarred or something, right? Smart guy. I don't admire that guy. I also don't admire KP. I don't admire the person in their mom's basement, but they're really smart. You know why they're smart? Because they are able to get the reaction that they want, and it works every time. And it'll continue to work because they'll put out something and you'll respond. They'll put out, you respond. They'll do it again, you respond. And just drives their content, drives their numbers, drives people to their Twitter, drives people to their YouTube channel. Drives traffic. Well, right, Jen, but it's not the dumbest shit because it's the smartest shit, right? Because it's by design. The dumbest shit would be like if they actually believed it, and they don't believe the shit that they're saying. They know that she's not guilty, but they're making you believe that she is, so that the McAlberts will use them as a public relation arm. So we spoke about this. I spoke about this with Bree the other night. If you are the McAlberts, how do you handle your public relations? What are you going to go downtown to some PR firm in Boston and say, yeah, we want you to be the public relations of these two schmuck families from Canton? What are we going to do? Put billboards up? Karen Reed's guilty, or Alberts are number one, or Jen McCabe for prom queen again? What the hell are you going to do? How are you going to have a PR arm unless you're just going to pay people to go on Twitter? So they got people to do it for free, or maybe they do give them some money, like the guy in his mom's basement and the one who hates Turtle Boy. Paul literally called for an army. Yeah. Good luck, Paul. Good luck getting an army to come to your aid, buddy. Hopefully you have enough money for a mercenary army. Could be like, Batista in like Castro's Cuba or something. See if you can get Che Guevara to come up and help you out. It's absurd, right? But it works very well because all we have to do as the McAlberts is show so now I don't really want to ascribe any stupidity to either the guy in his mom's basement or KP. I really don't, because from the perspective of the McAlberts, they say we can use these guys, but are you really using me if I'm happy to be used? Are you using me if I'm going, this works for me? This is good. Am I being used? Can someone answer that one? Jen McCabe inviting KP over her house for Christmas, and she's like, all right, I got to invite over this, this girl, this disgusting girl, because she's helping us with our public relations. But the girl's going, this works for me. This improves my profile. Well, are you being used? Are you being used, Patty, if you're happy to be doing what you're doing? Being used is kind of like if you're KP and Jen is saying, all right, I'm going to invite you over because you're helping us out. and you're happy to be invited over because it improves your profile among the people who think that Karen Reed's guilty, and you don't even think she's guilty, but you're playing the role. Are you really being used? Because it's working for you. It's working. Didn't you hear Lindsay in that one of those Betterow letters? The Betterow letters, Lindsay said, "Ooh, what did Jen McCabe, what did she think of my letter, or my email?" They think to them, Jen McCabe's like a celebrity. So they're happy, right? It's a mutual thing. It's mutual using, right? If I'm happy to be used, if I'm digging it, I know. It's really, I see what Britt said. Secondary benefits don't fully offset being used. So it depends. It depends on what your goal is. I'm this is just a hypothesis, Patty. I don't know anything. I don't know any more than you. I'm looking at the facts and trying to figure out what's happened the same way we're trying to figure out what happened with John O'Keefe based on all these sets of facts that are organic in nature, and then the synthetic facts that the prosecution has put on that are all man-made, conjured, planted. We're looking at all those facts and trying to put together, this is what I think happened. Just like I did a whole show about what happened inside 34 Fairview, and I based it on the facts that we know. John's injuries, legalities, outcomes. And I think I came up with a pretty good thing. But for Kate, she's not being used because she's happy to be in this position. It would be like a girl saying, "You know what, DJ, I want you to come over. I want to have some sort of a relationship with you, a physical relationship." And I'm like, "Hey, that's awesome, man. That works for me, and I'm enjoying it." And she's like, "I don't want anything serious." I'm like, "Well, I don't either." Okay, so that works. So I'm not really being used because I've agreed to this. Okay, it's when I want something different than what the other person wants. So for KP, she wants relevance. Jen's providing it. She can't go and hire a public relations firm. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, let's go here. Those letters gave it all away. Yes, those letters gave it all away, right? How they conspired to hurt this man, Turtle Boy, who's trying to do the right thing for a woman who could be Britt. It could be Jen. It could be Patty. It could be any of us, right? It couldn't be Tony because Tony has a Guinness right now. Okay. This is a coordinated effort, yes. But the reason I don't think it's being used is because KP is happy to do what she's doing for her own purpose, and she is able to leverage the clout that Jen McCabe has. How do we know Jen McCabe has clout? Because in those texts that Lindsay Gaetani was like a little middle school girl that, the cool girl sat at my lunch table. So that's the thing. So it's not being used in the traditional sense of the word about someone doesn't know. Let me ask you this. Does anybody, I want you to answer up to this in the chat. Is there anybody that doesn't think that Kate knows what Jen's goal is? I want you to type a Y or an N in the chat. Is there anyone that thinks that Kate doesn't know what Jen McCabe is trying to do with her? Please answer. Do you think Kate does know or doesn't know? Give me a Y or an N, please. Okay, you don't all have to rush to be the first one. This is so. Thank you, Tony, from Wales. Okay. That's so funny. 5% alcohol. Yes, she knows. Of course she knows. Kate knows exactly what Jen wants. So you can see, Patty, when you look at this, she's not being used. She knows why Jen wants her to do this. And Jen, for her to orchestrate, you have to divide your hatred for somebody. And I'd say hatred. I mean, maybe I don't use that word flippantly. I don't like to use the word hate very much. I reserve it very closely. And when it's about to come out of my mouth, I almost look at, do a double take and go, wait, should I use that word when I feel it's going to come out? As much as we despise, how about that? As much as we despise Jen McCabe, she's obviously intelligent enough to have put this together and roped in enough people to achieve the outcome that she wants. Like I said earlier, a lot of really, really smart people are evil. This woman, I said it on Twitter, I'm not qualified or degreed enough to diagnose the sociopathy that it appears that Jen McCabe has to be able to sleep comfortably at night in her sheets and talk about her children, meanwhile trying to put an innocent woman in jail and to Google Hasselong to die in cold and all these things and say, he was my friend, on the stand when it's so obvious that she's a liar. But maybe she has some degree of sociopathy within her and her personality. So she's very smart. And so is KP. And so is this other guy that's in his mom's basement. But I'm not going to show him on the screen. I'm not going to show him on the screen because if I show him on the screen, not that all of you don't know where he is, what if Tony goes, Tony's from the UK. He's probably here as a UFO guy. Or he is here as a UFO guy. What if I put this on the screen and I even played a little bit of his sound and Tony, let me go check out what this idiot has to say and goes to his YouTube. Do you see how that works? Because the rest of you know who he is. But do you see how that works? That's how it works. That's how it works. People will hate watch. They'll love watch. They'll click. They don't have to even like, but they can drive traffic. And that is what the unintended consequence of answering back these idiots. Okay, I'm about to get ready to close the show here. So let's get some final thoughts. Think of my patients who have been convinced that they are only worth something if they play a role. Even if they don't like it, they try to be seen as the best at their designated role. So yeah, I would love to hear what type of patients you have without, revealing obviously where you work. But yeah, that's what people getting clicks. I spoke with somebody last night from the Free Care and Read movement, this brilliant woman, and told me that she has seen clicks that developed within these people that stand out. That's a little bit disappointing to her. But that's life, right? That's life. People do that. They'll try to distinguish themselves. So forensic psychology, wow. I can't believe you have come to watch this show, Patty. Hopefully I haven't brought down your IQ even 1 point since watching this. Lord, hear our prayer. But thank you very much for coming and paying attention. And so, yeah, so again, going back to her tweet, thinking of my patients who've been convinced that they are only worth something if they play a role. So what do we see here? We see these individuals that we're talking about playing a role. They're playing a role because that's the one that was going to get them the most likes, clicks, subscribers, impressions, traffic to their YouTube, etc. Relevance. Because even if I say you are an a-hole and you're a liar, I have put weight in your words just by responding. Just by responding, I have added weight and gravity. And you tell me if you think I'm right about this, Patty. And yes, we are honored that you've come here, and thank you. By me responding to what you've said about me, I have added weight to your words. If I say nothing, you can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and I'm not responding because I don't care what you say. Your words mean nothing to me. That's the hypothesis I put forth for you all here tonight. Namaste. That's the hypothesis I put forth. I am not telling my fellow content creators that they need to do this because I've put this forth and because I'm right and they're wrong. I'm not saying that. I've tried to back up what I've said and back everything up with pretty good evidence. But they may say, and I've had one of my content creator friends in this space, a big content creator, say, you know what? I like doing this. I like it. I enjoy effing with this guy. That's his prerogative. What young lady said before, it's free country, right? Celine said earlier, it's free country. You can say anything you want. I'm just trying to offer, if we want a different result, to shut them up and to get them to stop, is to just stop paying attention. And stop paying attention, stop tweeting, stop broadcasting their show, make them go work for their own audience on their own show. I'm not going to help them. They will never, ever be any of these scrubs. And you'll see, if I get big enough to where they actually start talking about my show, they will never, their face will never appear on this screen. They could say anything about me. Their face will never appear on this screen. Their Twitter, if they put something on Twitter, you will never see me go to share screen and put them on the screen. Their Twitter. Never. Because I'm not going to give them that air. I'm not going to give them that oxygen. I'm just going to hold that choke in and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze so there's no air left. They're not going to get it from me. If they're going to get popular, they're going to get popular on their own, with their own audience, not with my audience. And hopefully in the roundtable, so on, we are doing a roundtable. I don't know if I can put this up. Let me see if I can. Give me a second. I'm going to try to put something up on the screen here for Sunday. No, it's going to be YouTube. Give me 1 second. My friends, we are the champion, my friend. All right. Now we can put this up there. Good. Okay. So I can put this up on the screen. We can present, because Britt and I are going to be involved in this. Okay. All right. There we go. And, oh boy, where did it go? This isn't it. Chrome tab. Uh-oh, something didn't go right. Oh, well, I don't know what happened there. I was trying to put this on. Let me try again. I'll tell you, StreamYard makes it a little difficult. Let me try. Oh, here. Is this it right here? See if this will. Oh, there we go. Now it's going to work. Okay. Can you guys see that? No? Yes? Maybe? Oh, there we go. Okay. Here it is. All right. So Sunday, the cab roundtable. And if you go to full screen right now, like I'm going to do, reality check. John Como, Boozy Beauty, SD, Analyze, Not Haley Albrecht, also known as Jason, and Britt Happens, who is in the tweet with us right now, my co-host. So that will be Sunday at 7 p.m. Massachusetts time. By then we'll be on Eastern Standard. We'll switch over from daylight to standard this weekend. So there you go. All right, how about that, guys? Sound good? It's going to be a great show. It's an all-star. We're extremely blessed. I'm very blessed that Britt is going to co-host with me, and these people should be absolute fire. Convinced with legit evidence might help. Yeah. I don't know who she's referring to, so I can't really answer that directly. I don't know who hasn't produced legit evidence. I know I have. So, but again, this is not about me telling my fellow content creators what to do. I'm offering an alternative hypothesis, an alternative methodology that they're welcome to use if they so choose. because these guys just keep on going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I think it's just increasing the bandwidth of the folks over there that are very intelligently using our positive pro Karen Reed platform for anti Karen Reed purposes, even though they also believe that Karen Reed is not guilty. So I want to thank you, everybody. If you have any final comments, I'll take them in the chat and I'll throw them up on the screen. And I want to say thank you, all of you, for stopping by to hang out with me tonight. We ended up doing almost an hour and a half. I thought we had a good hour of content here, and we went about 25 minutes over. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, Celine, HM. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for Jen. You've been contributing since I opened the show, and I really appreciate it because everybody's watching Sean tonight on another channel, and as well they should, because Sean is amazing and they should be watching. Thank you, Patty. Anybody else here? Britt, I think, is probably feeding her family by now because she got off of work a little while ago, so she's probably doing that. Thank you, Tony. Okay, and yes, I am too. So, guys, thank you to my fellow content creators, the Glare, Mazza, Money Mike, Crawford, and the Young Jerks, Kim, Turtle Boy, and Sean. I love all of you guys. Thank you, Celine. Thank you for coming in and hanging out, ma'am. I appreciate it. And on behalf of Calling All Beings Nation, this is DJ saying peace out. One love. We'll see you down the road. And we're always wondering what's up around the bend.